All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful tools any business has, brand storytelling. Seriously, it can be the one thing that separates you from being just another company to one that builds a truly loyal following. So how do you actually do it? What's the secret sauce? Well, that's what we're going to break down today.
Okay, so let's just kick things off with a number that honestly should change how you think about everything. 22. What's that about? Well, a psychologist named Jerome Bruner found that a fact is 22 times more likely to stick in someone's brain if it's part of a story. I mean, think about that. That's not a small difference. That is the literal gap between being forgotten the second someone clicks away and making an impression that lasts.
And look, being memorable, that's huge. But believe it or not, that's just scratching the surface. The real magic of storytelling goes way deeper. It's about building the kind of trust and connection that, well, that actually grows your business. It's not just about memory, it's about money.
I love this quote because it just cuts right to the chase. Brands that tell more, sell more. It's that simple. We're not just talking about some fluffy creative thing you do on the side. This is a core business strategy. It's how you build that emotional bridge, that trust, that makes someone want to do business with you.
Okay, let's get into the first big piece of the puzzle. Why do stories actually sell? I mean, what is going on here? Turns out it's not just marketing fluff. There's some really cool science behind how our brains are wired for narrative. So check this out. It really comes down to what's happening inside our heads. If I just list off a bunch of facts at you, only a couple of small parts of your brain, the language centers, are going to light up. Boring, right? But the second I start telling you a story, bam, your whole brain gets involved. The parts that process sights, sounds, even smells, they all fire up. You're not just listening, you're experiencing. Scientists call this neural coupling, which is a fancy way of saying your brain activity starts to look just like mine. It's literally a mind meld. And that's how you build a genuine connection.
All right, moving on. And I gotta say, this next part, this is probably the single most important idea in this entire playbook. If you get this one thing right, you're already ahead of 90% of your competition.
So here's the huge mistake almost every brand makes. They think they are the hero of the story. They talk all about their company, their achievements, their amazing product features. We do this, our company did that. Wrong. The big secret is your brand is not the hero. Your customer is. Your entire story needs to be about their problem, their journey. And your brand? You're the wise guide who comes alongside them with a plan to help them succeed.
The best way to think about it is like this. Your customer is Luke Skywalker. They're the one on the adventure facing this huge challenge. You, your brand, you're not Luke. You are Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're the one who has been there, done that, and has the wisdom and the plan to help the hero win the day. Your job is to make the hero look good.
Okay, so we've covered the why. Now let's get into the how. This is the really practical part. No more theory. We're talking about a simple, step-by-step framework you can literally start using the second this is over.
Yeah, I know. That's a pretty bold claim on the screen, right? The only framework you'll ever need. But here's why we say that. This playbook is really a distilled version of super effective models like the StoryBrand Framework. It takes these age-old storytelling principles, the kind you see in every great movie, and boils them down into a super simple structure that just works.
So here it is, 5 simple steps. Step 1, the character. This is your customer, the hero. You have to know who they are and what they really want. Step 2, the problem. Every story needs a villain, right? This is the problem your customer is facing. Step 3, the guide. That's you. You step in as the one who understands their problem and can help. Step 4, the plan. You can't just say, I can help. You have to give them a clear, simple plan, like 1, 2, 3 steps. It's the bridge they can walk across to get from their problem to the solution. And finally, step 5, the success. You have to paint a vivid picture of what life looks like after they use your plan. What's the happy ending?
And that framework is so effective because of this quote right here. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it for them. They're not buying a product, they're buying a better version of themselves. They're buying that happy ending. The framework is just a tool to build that emotional connection.
All right, theory is great, but let's see how this stuff actually works out in the wild. We're going to look at a few amazing examples of brands that are absolutely crushing it with their storytelling.
First up is Brian Dean from Backlinko. Now, what's so interesting here is that in an industry where everyone is just bragging about their wins, Brian did the complete opposite. He He built his entire brand on being super honest about his failures. He'd tell these stories about how he launched websites that just got totally wiped out by a Google update. And you know what? That vulnerability made people trust him like crazy. He wasn't some untouchable genius. He was a real person who had struggled and figured things out.
And did that strategy work? You bet. That honesty, that position, as a guide who's been through the trenches, it helped him grow Backlinko to almost 100,000 visitors every single month. In the world of SEO, that is a massive audience. His superpower, literally, was just being authentic.
Here's another great one. Ling app. The founder's story is so simple and so human. He was struggling to talk to his wife's family because they spoke Thai. That's it. That's the problem. He wasn't some big corporation. He was just a guy with a real-life communication barrier. He built the app to solve his own problem and then shared that story. The result? People connected with it, and their traffic exploded by over 237% in just 1 year. It's incredible.
But you know, your story doesn't always have to be this deep, emotional struggle. It can be funny. Take Zendesk. They're a customer service software company, which, let's be honest, can be kind of dry. So to stand out, they invented a fake rock band that only sang songs about how terrible bad customer service is. It was hilarious, it was clever, and it instantly made them seem like a cool, approachable company you'd actually want to work with.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. We've talked about the why, the brain science. We've talked about the how, that 5-step playbook. And we've seen the what, real brands out there doing it. Now, it's your turn.
So what are the big things to remember? Here's your cheat sheet. First, and most important, your customer is the hero, always. Second, use that 5-step playbook. Character, problem, guide, plan, success. It's your roadmap. Third, be authentic, whether it's through sharing your struggles or just using a bit of humor. And finally, don't just tell people, show them. Use real examples, use visuals, bring that story to life.
And that really is the bottom line. You have the tools. You've seen the proof that it works. So the only thing left to ask is, what story is your brand going to tell? Because your customers are out there right now looking for a guide. Your next chapter is just waiting for you to write it.